And I want to welcome everyone who's joined to our Wednesday webinar series in the Greater Travelers Rest Chamber of Commerce. And we're very excited and honored to have Bob Mihalic, Government Affairs Coordinator in Greenville County, and Eric Vinson, City Administrator of the City of Travelers Rest, with us today. And what we're going to be talking about is sharing some information regarding 3 amazing initiatives and programs that are available. And we've got a couple of experts here to tell us about them. So we're going to go ahead and let Bob start us off. Again, welcome, Bob. We're happy to have you here. And I've got your website open.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. The website is open, so that is greenvillecounty.org. And that's the simplest way to find it, obviously, is greenvillecounty.org, and that's how we've been promoting it. But as you can tell, right when you get on greenvillecounty.org, you can't help but notice and see the Greenville County Cares Act logo and the information below that. So if you're interested in the CARES Act, which we're going to get into, you come to greenvillecounty.org. You see the CARES Act logo, and then as you read through, you see that Greenville County CARES Act grants are available for small businesses and minority-owned small businesses, and you can click here to apply and get more information. And that page has all the information. If you are not familiar with it, I'll give you some quick background, then we'll get into the details of it. What this is I'm sure you've heard about it, and this goes back to, to March and April when the pandemic first began. When the pandemic first began, obviously there was the loans that the federal government put out there to individual businesses. They followed that up with what they called the CARES Act. So CARES Act money was distributed to any county or city of over 500,000 people. Those were the qualifications. So Greenville County is the only county in the state of South Carolina to get direct funding from the federal government for the CARES Act, since we're the largest county, and we with the upcoming census will definitely be, over 500,000 people. So we received the money. We didn't have a choice. we were kind of told, here's your money. In total, it's $91 million of federal money given to the county to distribute. This isn't county money. This isn't your local taxes. This is a federal grant, and it comes with federal grant strings. And for us, that was the difficult part. They want it to be in our hands so that we can get it to the people who need it most. Obviously, we don't necessarily have an infrastructure built to do that. So basically, we are a county government executing a federal program. The keys to the program coming.
Bob, we lost your audio.
Am I better now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. As I said, I don't know what's going on with the internet today, or with my phone, or with the computers, but I apologize for that. Anyhow, the CARES Act requirements, as per the federal government, obviously have to be related to COVID-19. They could not have been a budgeted item for us, for the governments. It couldn't have been an item already in the budget that you are supplementing. So you can't use it for payroll. You can't use it for lost revenue. And for this CARES Act money, it has to have occurred between March 1st of this year and December 30th of 2020. So we get this $91 million, the strings are attached. Here's what you can do with it. Get it out into your community. We thought about it long and hard. This is brand new for us. We went through council, and the number one priority that county council came up with, and certainly staff agreed with, is that small businesses are the backbone of our economy. They are the ones that really need the help. There have been federal programs that help the big boys. What are we going to do to help out our local governments? Well, our local businesses. We figured, well, that's where the local government comes in. So we made the conscious decision, after doing an examination, working with chambers, working with GADC, working with the Commerce Department, that there are approximately 9,000 to 10,000 small businesses in Greenville County. So making the assumption that they all would get a chunk of change, we came up with the number of $75 million of that $91 million that we would put aside for small businesses. Very ambitious, very bold, but this is brand new. It's novel. We had no idea what direction this was going to go, and how many people would sign up and who could qualify. So the first decision was made that, okay, we're going to make this money available to small businesses in Greenville County. Small business being that which is between 1 and 50 employees and has to be located in Greenville County. Do you have to be brick and mortar? No, you can be a work from home as long as you have a home address, the taxable address that is in Greenville County. You can't, unfortunately, you can't, live in Pickens and work in Greenville County. Your physical address needs to be in Greenville County, even if you don't have a brick and mortar store. So we did our best to advertise this, to put it out there, to let small businesses know that we have this money available. There are absolutely no strings attached to the businesses. So you all who are going to get it, when you get it, it is yours to use. It's up to us to determine if we give that to you. We're the ones who are accountable to the feds. That's why we have to abide by those rules. And again, the key rules for this to understand are you cannot use it for payroll and you cannot use it for lost revenue. It has to be related to COVID-19. That means, directly related. Allowable expenses do include changes of equipment. If you needed to buy new equipment or you need to upgrade equipment related to COVID. Obviously supplies, which could be the PPEs, up to everything else. For restaurants, it's, paper menus or plastic forks or whatever changes that were made because of COVID. Building modifications. Just so you all know, we've had folks that have had submitted because they built a deck on the back of their restaurant in order to have outside seating. That qualified. That was due to COVID. We were told you can seat people outside. You can keep your business going. That is the type of thing that sort of qualifies for that. And here's a big one. If you get one thing out of this, I ask you to listen up to this one. If you were a business that was forced to close at any point in time because of COVID, through the government orders, through the governor's orders, for whatever reason, you can get reimbursed for rent and utilities between the March and August. So if you were a restaurant or a dentist office or an eye care facility or a physical therapy department or a gym, and you were forced to shut down March, April, and May, you have the receipts of your rent, that is eligible because that is a cost incurred due to COVID-19. And we are finding that is the one that has been helping people the most. So that is where we are. So far, we've given out we're up to about $3 million, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's just about 500 small businesses have already applied and received their money. The money is already out the door. This started on July 6th. So people have already received their money. Despite what you might read in the paper here, it's a relatively simple process. It is an easy process to go through. So many people have done it. We've rejected a lot, and those that have been rejected for one key reason. They haven't proven that they're a legitimate business. So we had to be very careful of scammers, obviously. The W-3s and the W-9s, those are important forms to have, and you'll see that when you go through the application process. If you would like to apply, so now you know what's eligible, who is eligible, which would hopefully be you all. Again, let me give you a little bit of an idea of what you can use if you're thinking about it. I told you about the patio. We had one person who said that they had a carpet and they had to pull up the carpet and they put down towel to keep it clean and because of COVID. That worked. So you can get a little bit creative. Certainly any type of work from home situation, where if you have a brick and mortar and you send people home to work and you need to buy computers, Wi-Fi, Zoom registration, that's absolutely fine and understandable. We've had a lot of people who have done a lot of electronic where they've gotten refund, where they've had an office situation, they're an accounting firm and they just send people home. Well, they send people home with new computers and stronger Wi-Fi, and that was considered to be a COVID situation. So when you're on this page, if you look up in the upper right-hand corner, the one thing I really want you to see is under contact information. We have an email address and the phone number, the 467-CARE. This is actual human beings that will help you. Like I said, right now, I think we're in the middle of processing about 800 of active applications. So things have picked up, but we still have gotten back to everybody within 24 hours, especially on the email. We have about 5 people dedicated to sitting and working on this all day. And these are folks in the administrator's office, assistant county administrators and legal people. And every one of us that has an hour of spare time, then we'll go in there and help process these CARES Acts. But if you have any questions once you're doing this, you email or you make that call, you will get a human being that responds to you, and it'll be someone sitting at County Square. So we are here to help. We want to get this money out the door. We don't want to put up roadblocks. We don't want to deny. We want to get the money out the door and in your hands. So at our end, we think we're doing everything we can to make that possible. At your end, the important thing is simply when you go through the application process to have your, when you sign up to get in, it'll ask for W-3s and W-9 and your tax information. So you can go into begin your application. And then if you need to go get some stuff, you can get out of it and get back in. Once you submit it, you can only submit it once, but you don't have to have, you don't have to do it all at once as you go through the application if you find that you have to go find receipts or you have some ideas to go through it. So as you see, if you scroll down just a little underneath small business or minority owned small business, you click on the application and you'll just have to go in and create your password and email address, and then you'll get right into the application. Obviously there's a lot of personal information on an application, so we wouldn't attempt to sort of do one there, but it really kind of is, I hope, that simple. Again, we've had people that told us it's taken 45 minutes for them to go in and get $10,000. No one likes paperwork. I know you all are very busy, but we'd like to think an hour of your time could be worth the money. But the key again is to have your business information. You have to obviously have paid your taxes, but you have your tax information. If you are going to get reimbursed, have your receipts ready to go, and then the application process should be relatively easy. Just to give you an idea of, I went ahead and looked because we were looking through zip codes of some of the businesses in the TR area that have already applied and gotten their money. We got Travelers Rest Auto Repair, Plant Life, Lucas Racing, Leopard Forest Coffee, L&M Design, Vinson Company, Edwards Thomas Group, Chicora Alley, Vinson Family Dentistry. So, we've had a pretty good representation from TR come in. And if you're at all interested in seeing who is getting this money, and the other blocks, that's right, she's right on it there, for it says additional information grant recipients. You can go through that. And then if you click on small businesses and minority owned small businesses, and then click it again, you'll see the list begins on this PDF here. Click it one more time. And you see the list. It's in alphabetical order and it's about 6 pages right now. These are all the people who have already applied, been approved, and have the money in their pockets. So everybody on this screen here and all these scrolling through found it to be a relatively simple process, got their money and have moved on. As you can see, some get the 10,000 max, others don't quite reach that level. And of course, that's something that we've realized as well, is that, some people just don't have a ton of expenses related to COVID. But, if it was, we give you $1, but as you can see, some are as little as $1,600 and others go all the way to the $10,000 max. So, Jenny, do you want me to answer some questions about this while we're on this, or keep going, or what would you like to do? Because I think I'm going to shut up and listen to some questions if people have some, if that's where we're at.
Looks like we do have a question in our chat that says, just clarifying, this is a reimbursement. Businesses need to expend the funds, then provide the receipts. She says the reason she's asking is she serves businesses that are still in the process of upfitting. Since they can only apply once, they would need to complete all the paperwork prior to completing the application.
Yeah, yes, you can only apply once. So if you're in the process of upfitting and you believe that obviously it's going to be an acceptable request, you should wait until you've gotten your total dollar amount. You have until December 30th to put in your application. But yes, you do. You cannot get paid in advance. We can't do the whole, I'm going to put up 10 plates of plexiglass and I need $1,000. No, unfortunately, you have to buy the plexiglass and then, provide us the receipts and you'll get reimbursed. So I would definitely, in that situation, you have time. It goes through December 30th. So if you're going to complete it within a month, wait till it's completed, get all the receipts, and then make the application to make sure you get all the money that you can.
Okay. She said thank you. Does anybody else have any questions before Bob moves on? Or I'm just going to see if anybody else pops in here.
And again, use that contact information, the CARES Act at greenvillecounty.org and 467-CARES. Someone will always get back to you if you think of something, if you get in the middle of the process.
Okay, it looks like you're free to move on. That's the only one we've had so far.
All right. What you want next? The pledge? The Greater
Yes.
Greenville Pledge?
Yes, let's
Right.
let me get out of this guy and this guy, and here we are. Okay.
Well, one of the things, and I'll talk to this group, and it's not, I don't know how we say this. It's no, people understand. Look, we understand sometimes that the city of Greenville can be, I don't want to say overpowering, but it is who they are. That city has grown. It's sort of become the hub of us. So when this group got together, this was a group that came out of a much larger group of stakeholders from the state level that said, hey, this started back in middle of April when the pandemic was just starting. What are we going to do for our businesses once it's time to reopen? And they were looking at it just from a PR standpoint and sort of a mood standpoint, if you would, aside from policy. So the Chamber of the Greater Greenville Chamber, the City of Greenville, and Greenville County and GADC got together and they're like, well, what can we do for local businesses? And this is what we came up with. The Greater Greenville Pledge. We certainly went out of our way to try, and we didn't, you don't want to call it the Greenville County Pledge because then you think it's only in the county. You don't want to call it the Greenville Pledge because you think it's only in the city. We understand sometimes, certainly, that folks in TR and folks in Simpsonville don't necessarily think of them as being the Greater Greenville area, but this is really here to serve everybody in the area. And simply what it is a pledge that a local business makes that indicates to the public that they are doing everything that they can, following procedures set out by the CDC, not laws, but volunteer procedures from the CDC to make sure that they have a safe environment for you to come into their store, whether it's a restaurant, a business, a doctor's office. So to date, there's been more than about 1,000 businesses that have taken the pledge. They've received, when you do it online here, you receive in the mail or via an email the pledge sticker that you can put on your door. And it simply says that, we're a business that acknowledges the current situation. We acknowledge that we have a responsibility to make sure our business is safe. We've gone out of our way to do so, and we welcome you in. So it really is that simple. It had a little bit more, teeth back in May when we opened, in that there weren't the governor's requirements for the restaurants, and there wasn't mask ordinances at that time. So this was sort of the, go around to saying that we're going to mask and we're going to clean this, to do it despite the fact that there was no specific law or ordinance that makes us do it. Now there are laws and ordinance, but the pledge still, it just kind of informs people. We you think it's like the seal you put on your window that says, hey, we passed our FDA inspection or whatever. It's just a nice way to let citizens know that you care about them and that they are welcome, and that when they come in, they're going to be visiting a business that has taken the pledge to make sure that everything is clean and functioning. So, that was just more of a spiritual thing, if you will, a mood setter thing, so that citizens would know when businesses were concerned about the safety of their patrons.
And there's also a lot of really good resources here in terms of, CDC guidelines, and, they even separated with restaurant and retail and manufacturing, just to kind of give you a little bit more insight into how to safely, reopen and what you should be doing. So it's a great resource for that as well.
Yeah, and again, this was this was started back in April when there's information was flying all over the place, and so we did like to make it be a one-stop shop, and it is following those resources and using those resources that will eventually get you to to the pledge. If you could, there's a button on the side there that says map of the pledge. Have you seen that, Jenny? If you click on that, you can see the businesses that have taken it. I'm trying to scroll up and see. Hopefully there's some of them. I know I saw one up there the other day. I guess I shouldn't play favorites, but there certainly are businesses in the TR area, if you scroll in, who have already taken the pledge, a whole bunch of them as I scroll into it. So, and ironically, a lot of them that have taken the pledge are a lot that have already applied for the grant as well. So these are just businesses coming together to indicate that we know the situation and we're all in this together, and we're going to do everything possible to move forward in a safe and convenient manner. So I'm seeing Plant Life, the Glade Salon, Carolina Moon Realty, Cross Creek Realty. So Best Western Travelers, Rest is in there. Sally Tees, Powell Family. So a lot of folks have signed on. Again, it's just sort of the vote of confidence of letting people know that we address the situation. And the total pledges now, boy, I didn't check it for a day, and it's up there. We have more than 1,611 businesses have taken the pledge so far.
Awesome. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Bob regarding the Greater Greenville Pledge? Just look in my chat real quick and see if anybody has said anything. Well, you must be doing great, Bob, because nobody has any questions about this one either. So, okay.
Well, that's what it is. I'm great. They're not bored or on to something else, right?
No. Well, everything's laid really well.
They just want Eric. I want Eric too. Get to
him. Okay. Well, we will go ahead and transition over to Eric then. And Eric's going to talk to us about the Palmetto Priority. So I'm on the website for you, Eric. We're ready to drive whatever you need.
All right, thank you, Jenny, and thank you, Bob. It's a tough act to follow. My part will be fairly quick and straightforward. It is the best way to explain this. This is a state level initiative administered mainly by DHEC, and it's very similar to the pledge, and it came out, I believe, just about the same time, maybe shortly after the Greater Greenville Pledge. And this is a similar program that is focused on restaurants. And basically it operates in the same way as the Greater Greenville Pledge that Bob explained, and that it's a voluntary program. And so restaurants that choose to participate will be asked to adhere to a checklist of operational assurances that follow the recommended guidelines through CDC, and that they're just a healthy place to dine, both for their patrons and their employees. And in exchange, they are given a sticker and the ability to post that they are a member of the Palmetto Priority, and that just gives them ability to market themselves, that they are doing the right thing as it relates to the pandemic, and that they are a safe place to come and dine. One thing about the program, and it goes into a lot of detail on the website, is there are some inspections that occur, so it's a little bit more in depth than the Greater Greenville Pledge, in that DHEC will actually come out and do a food safety check. Some of the managers must complete safe serve reopening guidelines. So there's a little bit more requested of the restaurants to participate, but once they check off all of those requirements, they're considered a full participant in the program. Another aspect of this program is that there is feedback that is available to patrons after they've dined in the restaurant. The program encourages feedback, and so this would be after you've dined somewhere that you can go ahead and give a review in essence, and then that review would be published as well. And so these are basically two similar programs, both of them geared at just letting the public know of what restaurants are doing. Yeah, you can go ahead and click on the participating restaurants, and you can do a search to see 29690 or Travelers Rest. Let's see. And we have some restaurants that are participating. So, people, the word is getting out. We've been promoting, all of these programs and initiatives on the City of Travelers Rest website as well. And, as the CDC updates and modifies guidelines, or DHEC does the same, we've been basically just pushing out that information, on the city's website as well as on the city's Facebook page. And so there's numerous places where you can go to kind of find this information, but the best place is just to go straight to the palmettopriority.com website, and you can look and find out how to participate.
I did have one question in the chat. It's a bit off topic, but Eric, they asked, should we anticipate TR to follow Clemson's example of ticketing those who don't comply with the mask ordinance?
Great. So good question. We have passed a mask ordinance in the city, and it applies, is mirrored after the city of Greenville's mask ordinance. It was passed in July. About July 18th is when it went into effect for 60 days. So unless it's renewed, it will expire in September. I would anticipate it would probably be renewed depending on the situation, where we are with the rates and the pandemic at that point in time. As far as enforcement, the city is obviously responding to calls for service. We are, so if we receive any sort of call for service regarding a patron or a business not complying with the mask ordinance, we like to go out and have a conversation and let them know that there is an ordinance in place, and we'll ask them for compliance. We have not gotten to the point of issuing tickets or fines. And hopefully, that's the last resort. We don't want to, that's not the goal, of the mask ordinance, but it is, the goal to bring it to people's attention that it's important that they adhere to the safety guidelines, and to make sure that, people are taking it seriously. And if we have an opportunity to have that discussion, then we will take advantage of that opportunity. But the goal is not to issue tickets.
Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any questions for either Eric or Bob? Just give a couple minutes just to make sure we don't have any more.
This is Rebecca. I just saw something before I jumped onto this. Apparently, DHEC has released a guide of recommendations on how to deal with patrons who don't want to comply with the mask ordinance. I just saw it posted before I came on here and glanced at it. It really does have some good information, so that might just be an added resource for people to look at.
Okay. And Eric, another question. Someone asked, are the details of the ordinance on the city website?
I believe they are. I could double check and get back with you. If you want to navigate to the city's website, we could take a look. I believe it was posted as well as on a city Facebook page. So we could go to the website first. And scroll down just on the homepage. If we keep going down. Okay, go back up a little bit and see on the buzz or on the county passes mask ordinance. I believe we can find all the information we need here. This is a summary of the ordinance itself in a little bit more plain language. And then you could download the entire ordinance at the bottom there if you'd like to read it. But the summary is a little bit more user-friendly. That pretty much highlights everything that's in the ordinance in a non-legal, legalese way.
Wonderful. Okay. Any other questions for either Bob or Eric from our group here? Okay, well that looks like it's it. I appreciate both of you being here with us today and taking time out of your schedule to go over these programs with us and give us a little bit more information. We really appreciated it. We have recorded this and we will be posting it to our soon-to-be Travelers Rest, Greater Traveler Rest Chamber YouTube, which I'm starting today. So yay, it'll be on there. And if you have any further questions, certainly as Bob had mentioned, on the website for Greenville Cares is a dedicated email and phone number that you can certainly address there. Everybody's saying thank you. They appreciated the information. It was a great presentation. So I appreciate you both, and I will release you. I hopefully you can go have some lunch now, and we will see you guys again here shortly.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Mayor.